What is going on, Clippers fans? Welcome to Season 3, Episode 32 of Clips and Dip. I am Chuck Mockler, joined by Adam Oslin. Will Updike, mysteriously not here. Hope he's okay.
Maybe we'll get some practice footage from him.
yeah, he's up in the vents at Intuit trying to get real footage. We are here today to talk about the Kawhi Leonard returning rumors that have been started completely by Bill Simmons and Patrick Beverley. The team hasn't really done anything. There was a video of Kawhi shooting around pregame that we're going to show y'all that looked actually like it was taken by someone in the heating vents at Intuit Dome. We're going to talk about what happened against the Wolves, mostly bad things, and then a little bit of talk about the game on Sunday against a team that really does seem to have our number in the Houston Rockets. But before we get into that, the people are wondering, Adam, how the hell are you?
I'm good. All is well on my side. Got 3 days off here. Clippers only playing 3 games the next 13 days. It is hard to believe.
We got full leisure Adam right now. You're going to be in a Hawaiian shirt with a beach background at the next show.
Tommy Bahama Adam, yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, man. Okay, so let's just get right into it. No pun intended. The Kawhi bobblehead date was announced yesterday, and it's going to be December 16th against the Utah Jazz. I was excited to see this, I guess. It was cool. The bobblehead itself is very fun. It's Kawhi on a shelf. Noted not Clippers insider at any time, I want to make that clear, Bill Simmons said that his Clippers guy, and Adam, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I don't think Bill Simmons has ever been a Clippers news thread puller.
Well, he's a Clippers fan. He comes to some games. He's not as big of a fan. That's his West Coast team. His real team is the Boston Celtics. I don't think he's had as good of a track record with things or has been on it like maybe Skip Bayless has in the past, where people, in hindsight said, hey, actually, Skip was right about something.
Right. I don't think anyone said that about Bill Simmons and the Clippers.
No, I can't recall a time.
Yeah, his Clippers guy, these are Bill Simmons' words, told him that Kawhi would be back before Christmas. The other piece of evidence that we have for people to judge themselves, because we're just presenting the information, and then, of course, we're going to talk about how we feel about it. But right now, this is just kind of us presenting it. There was a video taken. We're going to screen share because we have that ability on this podcast. There was a video taken. I'm going to do my best to zoom in here of Kawhi, basically kind of doing what we saw him doing that other time we saw him pregame shooting when he was recovering from injury in Golden State. This came out I think yesterday. It was before the game. People were excited. I was a little surprised it didn't get more traction, but it's the first actual basketball that we've seen Kawhi Leonard play. So all those things have added up into the, I would say, minor frenzy. Clippers fans have been on this rodeo before, so it's not like we're exactly popping bottles and things like that. How are we feeling? He also hasn't practiced yet. I think that's a very important detail some people I don't know if they're missing, but should consider. Adam, now that I've spoken for almost 3 uninterrupted minutes, I apologize for that. Where are we at?
Well, you bring up the biggest and most important point there. He hasn't practiced, and checking the box of doing 5-on-5 stuff in practice, I think, is the last thing. And from that video, I would still say he's a ways off. Is it feasible that he plays in December? Yeah, I think that's possible. It depends. What else has he done that we haven't seen? Because I don't know if most people even would have thought he was doing a movement like he just did on that three-pointer. By the way, Kawhi was being talked about.
Anything, right? We've only seen no, you're right. The way it's been discussed is strengthening his knee back. So in your head, if you're a Clippers fan, you go to, so he's having trouble sitting down. What is that? What does that mean?
I wonder if they've been trying to undersell and over-deliver here. and Kawhi actually has been doing more stuff behind the scenes.
For the first time in the 2-1-3 era history.
But nobody ever knows what he's up to or what his training actually is. We get reports from players who have trained with him and talk about how intense it is.
Mm-hmm.
But he had been talking about this summer, right around the time of the setback, right after Team USA, that he was doing his usual training regimen during the summer. And then the Clippers were like, okay, we got to slow this thing down. I think there's a real possibility that they are being so overly cautious that it has led us all to believe that he's just not progressing as fast in his recovery from the knee as they had wanted him to. But
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's not that. Maybe it's as simple as we're not going to play him till we know he's 100% or 150% healthy. And we're already the 25% of the way through the season. So when he comes back and he's still going to miss back-to-backs, I'm sure,
I would
that
hope.
means
I want to make that clear.
at most he's playing 35, 40 games somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just their plan to have him for the playoffs. It's all about the playoffs. They're all in with Kawhi and actually having him being able to finish a playoff series. So therefore, they have held him back so much with just an abundance of caution.
And things are going well is the other part, I think, that is making this or has made this easier for Clippers fans, myself included, right? It's not like the Clippers are floundering. We've been sold that bill of goods in the preseason about defense, and it's here. And that makes all of us pretty excited on why we're in the situation we're in. Yeah, before Christmas is the thing that hangs up on me because that's in 20 days. And I don't know the practice windows they're already tired. They're going to be taking some days off. It's not like they're practicing every day up until those games. But yeah, you mentioned the part about being, 100% because they don't want him to go back out. Obviously, that's never wanted, but that's been specifically reiterated by Lawrence Frank and Ty Lue about like once he's back, we're going into this with no expectation that he will be taking another break.
You
This.
wonder if just they saw the doctor recommendation or the training staff recommendation, and they said, "Okay, you're saying this long. We're going to double that."
Let's add another 100% right on top of that. I don't know if Kawhi might have pushed back on that, maybe if that was the case.
I think he has though, because the way he's been talking, and I talked with Law Murray about this earlier, but there was that preseason game in San Diego where Coach Lue used the words, even if it pisses him off, when it comes to holding Kawhi back and saving the player from himself. I think there's a real chance that Kawhi has felt like he's much closer than the team has felt like he should be already back by this point.
I like that idea. I think that's a good call. Because the guys always want to play.
And Kawhi doesn't do much else. He's not on social media.
Very true. He goes to certain establishments. We know that. He does enjoy a nightclub of sorts sometimes.
He doesn't. He's a basketball junkie.
He's got a hoverboard. We know for sure he's got at least one hoverboard.
He's a real hooper, and he wants to play. This is why he trains so hard during the offseason to get to actually play in games.
So with all of these pieces, and I think I'm going to go ahead and rank these pieces of which I have the most stock in, of making me, if I were to think that Kawhi Leonard was coming before Christmas, which I'm still like, I think I'm 50-50. Just because we've heard all the caution.
It's not bad, though.
Right. Bad. Agreed. Not a bad place to be. They've wanted to be overly cautious. He hasn't practiced yet. Things are going well, which I think in their head maybe buys them, some more of that time to add on top to kind of piss Kawhi off, as you said a little bit in terms of holding him out. Because I think that it does play a factor. It has to. It's not like if this team was 2 and whatever, that they'd be like, just chill. Like, there's no draft picks. We have to try and win a championship. I don't think we're finishing better than the Rockets. No disrespect to how well the Clippers have played.
Yeah, the Clippers are playing great, and yet the Houston Rockets seem like they're shooting to the moon right now.
Yes. I'm putting the Bill Simmons thing dead last, strictly for the fact that the man has never broken anything about the Clippers. I think he only watches the Clippers for Schadenfreude. And that's at the very dead last for me. The bobblehead thing, and I'm wearing my tinfoil hat from the Locked On Clipper days. Did you watch the bobblehead promo for the
I
Kawhi
did.
thing?
I saw the link that you said.
That is a promo that if he does not play on that night, the way that promo is, I'm just like, people are going to be so fucking pissed. It's Kawhi scanning his. I'm not saying this is like dots going to connect, but it's a big swing for the social media team to have Kawhi scanning his face, returning back to the Intuit Dome, doing all that stuff is all I'm saying.
His bobblehead.
For his bobblehead. But it's
his bobblehead doing all that, though.
Yeah, not actually Kawhi.
Yeah.
That would be, I'd be like, oh, they're setting themselves up for the worst failure in the world. I'm probably at like 40-60 on him coming back before Christmas.
What's interesting is
because the video of him shooting too, as you mentioned, I was like, I don't know he was doing all that, I guess.
Yeah. That game, though, on the 16th, just got scheduled 2 days ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Right after the Clippers lost,
or the bonus game.
Yeah, right after the in-season tournament game was over and they won big over the Portland Trail Blazers, but it didn't matter. Their chances of making the knockout round were over back when OKC shellacked the Utah Jazz. So they had a choice, right? Could they not have done it that night? Could they have pushed it back even further? Is that possible?
I would think so, right? Because it's been TBD for so long.
How many games do they play at home in December? Because obviously it's a Santa Claus themed bobblehead, so you have to have it near Christmas.
Isn't it Kawhi on? I thought it was Elf on the Shelf themed, or is it Santa Claus?
No, I think you're right. I just
comments. Let us know.
It's always Claus with a K for Kawhi Leonard. It's been this for a while.
So you're asking how many home games in December?
Yeah, what's nearest to Christmas? Because they do have some time off around there.
December 27th.
That's the Warriors game?
Yeah, and that's past Christmas. And
what's before
literally the Jazz game.
So that's all they got.
They go
absolutely.
So they go.
It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything.
They would go Jazz Clippers Monday the 16th. They're on the road the 19th. They're on the road the 21st, the 23rd. They come back.
Because I was going to say, if they had a game at home on the 23rd or the 24th or the 22nd, and they could have chose that game instead right before Christmas.
That. Yeah.
But that's not the case. They're just picking the last game right before Christmas at home for a Christmas-themed bobblehead.
Knowing how these things go, he's going to come back the 27th, and I can say, I told you he wasn't coming back before Christmas.
The thing is, not even Kawhi could know right now when he's coming back.
Right. It's also just it's December 5th. Like it's not like it's like the middle, even the middle of November. There's not a lot of time before Christmas.
There's no way they can have a planned set date for when Kawhi is coming, because tomorrow he could do an exercise and his knee doesn't like it, and therefore it's gone, and they move the date back further. I think it's that simple right now during this load up, ramp up, during this progression.
But some of us have winter madness, so we're trying to connect these dots.
Yeah, I can understand why.
Oh, and that's the other thing. Like, it makes sense for some. There's been times in the past where it's like, why are we getting excited? This one, there is some smoke to it, right? Like, there's a little bit of smoke to it.
Oh, I heard about the workout earlier yesterday. I wasn't going to say anything, but now the video's out that, of course, everybody knows. And the Clippers Spirit are right there. So this was going to get out. They knew, there's plenty of people there. Yeah. It's not like it was completely closed off, or as much as you try to contain something like that. And I'm not saying the Clippers Spirit stop snitching or something like that. It's just
no, we are pro Clippers Spirit.
Yeah, there's far too many people there for nobody to find out about this, right?
Right. Yeah, it's not like when Remember when Doc used to have those closed pregame run-throughs where you'd go into Staples and they'd have all the curtains hung up? You're like, what are they doing? Like, oh, working on defensive concepts. You're like, well, the game's in an hour. So that doesn't feel very good.
I did see some black curtains there yesterday when I
Okay.
first got there around 4:30. But
They just
yeah,
want to separate you from the public. They can't have you out there. The masses would go crazy.
yeah, don't cause a riot or anything like that. It's like the end of the movie Perfume, where people are just freaking out.
Yes, yeah, 100% that.
So I'm encouraged. I am.
I think encouraged is the perfect spot to be at. I'm encouraged. That's exactly why I'm like, great, cool. He's doing more than I thought he was, which I guess in my head was walking around. I didn't really think he was doing anything other than that. And I don't mean that in a mean way, but like we don't have any information.
That little crossover, step back three, left wing, nothing but net. It looks like Kawhi to me. Now, again, he's got to go through some real practices. And once we hear about that, who knows what's been happening? What else has been happening behind the scenes? Because nobody probably would have expected that yesterday. So other stuff could be happening. But until we hear from La Murray and the good Clippers beat writers that Kawhi is practicing today, I can't say he's that close. That's the obvious tell of how
100%.
close he's getting. When is he showing up for practice? And then does he practice 2 days in a row? Should they have that much time? I mean, they might. They might over this little stretch, which does tie in.
This schedule helps, which we haven't really talked about, right? Like they have actual rest coming up, which is good. It's not like Kawhi's been doing anything other than resting, but there's time to get real practices in. The team isn't like, I don't know how many people know that, but like the team isn't, if there's one day off in between games, the team isn't doing a full practice in between. You know what I mean? Like they're not running hard in between those games. No. Like this has been a brutal schedule.
Isn't it possible that maybe the plan was all along? The front office, the training staff, the doctors, they looked at the schedule and said, oh, they don't have 2 consecutive days off once in November. Yeah, that's probably not a good time to bring back Kawhi. It's not going to happen then, because it goes back to you saying they want to be able to bring him back and him being able to stay back or to play as many games as possible. This could be that landing spot the next couple of weeks. They had to see where the makeup games were scheduled for the in-season tournament. They got that now. I don't know. It's not nothing to me. You know, it's not nothing. There does seem to be a lot of dots that could be connected here.
Well, there's always dots. I want to make that very clear. There's always dots that can be connected during during Clippers Winter Madness.
What do we have up here with the yellow and the purple stuff? The confetti?
Yeah, the confetti. Yeah, we can connect all. Yeah, there might be a message in there. Another with the rest factor too is, say, Kawhi comes back and the team will be rested theoretically as much as they probably will be all season after this December month because of how little games they're playing, which is the best time to bring them back. So it's not like, hey, Kawhi, come back. Everyone's tired. We need you to be back to like full on number one option. Like he is going to make things easier, but it's different with that being the overt, man, we really need this right now ask to make things easier.
Yeah. They're not 10 and 14. They're 14 and 10.
Exactly.
That makes a difference.
And they're playing well. Except we'll talk about what happened last night. But and the thing that was making me laugh is that Ty Lue now has like 3 days of just hanging out before the pregame presser while all this Kawhi madness festers with people. Or Lawrence Frank calls a press conference tomorrow or Saturday and we get information from that, which would probably not be good information, but
yeah, I would not like an impromptu, unscheduled Lawrence Frank.
I don't think that will happen. I don't think that will happen like that, but that is a way that we do get information from this team.
The next big shoe to drop is Kawhi practiced with the squad today and did a limited practice. That's what it's going to be first off, guys.
Yeah.
He's not going to fully participate. Hopefully more than knockout.
I think knockout with an NBA team at practice would get incredibly intense, for what it's worth.
Those guys aren't going to miss very much, though. People are going to be
But when
getting
they do,
that guy's getting knocked out immediately by the next person
yeah,
behind
that's
him.
true. Yeah, they're probably going from half court or something insane. I don't
Yeah,
think they're going.
you're right.
I don't think they're doing free throw. Well, some of the guys on the team maybe should do that. Just should do it from free throw. But
Zoo has been struggling there.
But yeah, encouraging. I think encouraging is the right word. The next thing that people should look out for is the practice update, which I don't know if they're practicing today.
I think to Saturday.
I didn't see any updates from any of our fabulous beat writers, as you mentioned.
I thought Law mentioned a practice on Saturday.
Maybe a walkthrough on Friday then, because it's kind of a lot of days off between.
They've earned it, man.
Hey, don't spin it like that. I'm not saying they need to be.
They had 21 games in a 36-day stretch, which was the most condensed of any team. That was since, I think, October 30th.
And we have 17 games in March. We do.
But that's old hat. We had that last year. That's nothing.
I'm still freaked out by it. All right, let us know. I didn't promote any of the handles before we started. So if you're with us and you found us, you probably know where we're at. But if you just popped in, you can find the show at youtube.com/@ClippersPodcast or anywhere you get your pods. We thank you for hanging out. Sorry there was no live after the game last night, but we're going to go ahead and talk about the Clippers back-to-back.
I was going to ask if you guys wanted to come on after that.
No. I mean, I would have, but I only had negative things to say. You're happy I didn't just bomb into your stream. We got some audio ads coming up. No video ads, so our faces will still be here. So if you're listening on audio, there's going to be some ads, and we're talking the Clippers back-to-back coming up, or what happened to the Clippers back-to-back coming up in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back in. It's Clips and Dip. I'm at a Moslin Season 3, Episode 32. Still to come, we'll preview the Rockets game coming up on Sunday. Remember, they only have 3 games in the next 13 days. Oof. And they have time to regroup and maybe find their sea legs again after what happened last night in a beating against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Stark contrast to what happened in Minnesota, losing by 1. I'm missing that game right about now after what happened last night. As upset as I was for the clock management at the end, now I'm like, Last night's game was over about midway through the first quarter. It was that bad. James Harden started 0 of 7. Jordan Miller started 1 for 5 and missed a lot of his patented floaters and go-to shots. Minnesota's defense was really good. It looks like they found themselves. They figured it out. They've won 3 games in a row, all against LA teams. But after Anthony Edwards called them out for being soft, you can see the difference in this team. They're getting up for games now. They have the personnel. They were the number 1 defense all of last season by a mile. They shouldn't be that bad just because they lost Karl-Anthony Towns. So I'm not that shocked about what happened last night, because Minnesota already had their come to Jesus moment or whatever. They already had their gut check during the season. Mm-hmm. And the Clippers, 3 games and 4 nights it was. Minnesota had only played 1 game the last 4 days.
No Norm. Terance. We're going to talk about the Terance injury, which I think is kind of weirdly getting swept under the rug a little bit. Like, they just didn't have – if you're going against a good defense and you're down Norm Powell and Harden's not hitting shots, there's not a lot of other guys on the roster who can – fill in even close to what we would need against that team. And we kind of said in the game preview, when it was all 3 of us, we were like, let's see, don't lose any of your goodwill if this back-to-back doesn't go as we want it to. And it very much did not. But there was some good stuff. Jordan Miller's first game, he was scoring. Trenton Flowers had some energy. Like, I don't know. Norman Harden.
Cam Christie and Trenton.
Yeah.
Both them with dunks to start their NBA careers.
Trenton's was crazy. Trenton's was like, he's going to hit his head on the rim.
He was the best part of that game.
Yes.
He had the highest vert at the combine.
Really? Whoa, damn. I mean, it was on display in that first bucket.
I think it was 42 or 43 inches. Damn. And this is real, like, electronic stuff and real technology.
It's not a guy holding a stick.
It's different. It's not like, the The Bo Jackson ran a 3.940. He
That's
ran
true.
a 42-inch, or he jumped. He had a
He ran his
42-inch vertical.
Wow, that is impressive. Is that higher or lower than yours?
It's about 4 times mine, I think.
Yeah, I mean that game against the Blazers, Norm and Harden were great in that one, and then Norm didn't play, which I wonder how long that management's gonna go. Do you think that was just a professional decision to give him some rest?
I think that was like, yeah, he just played last night, second game back from the hamstring. We could give him 4 days off if we just don't play him in this one before the
Yeah,
game against Houston, which is a big game. I think that's what it was. It was strategic. It was smart. It's a hamstring. They're tricky, tough to
that's right.
manage, and they very much need him. That's another. It's just the same philosophy. When we get guys back, we want them to stay back. Not everybody's been able to do that so far this season. The NBA has had a tough time with that. And
Yeah,
Paul George, I wonder if people were saying he came back too early from the initial bone bruise when he hyperextended his left knee, and then he had another one. I don't know.
well, yeah.
Err on the
Well,
side of caution, please. They're 14 and
yes,
10.
which is what they are doing, which is awesome. Some bad things that happened. Terance breaking a finger and needing surgery. He's going to be reevaluated in 3 weeks. This is not the biggest loss, obviously, but this is a loss that I think, because of his bad start, people are maybe not giving enough credit to how much this might affect the rotation.
It could be more impactful than
Not
I
like a
think.
bunch, you know what I mean? But it's like, it just feels like with the start, it's like he's a plus defender. He was getting his stride off the bench with Amir.
Kinda. Yeah.
We
He's
need
still
it, but
out of
that's, I mean, the start was bad. We needed any positives, and any
sure.
positives in a row for Terance Mann. It was like, oh, hey, this has been better than what has been happening.
The Denver game was his best game. He won them that game. He had the offensive rebound and that three-pointer, and Amir Coffey went out after banging knees, and he stepped up, and he was looking good
So he's
early
one
in
of
the game
those guys,
against
I
Portland.
guess, right? Like he's one of those guys who it's like Amir goes out, Terance can step up, do his thing. Like, yeah, I don't know.
It's a bigger loss if somebody else gets hurt, basically.
Well said.
Now
Yeah.
you're really
Amir,
missing
please.
Terance Mann.
Yeah. Knock on the wood. But 3
I
weeks without Terance, I mean, it's more Jordan Miller time, but I don't feel great about it.
if Kawhi's back on the 16th, I feel better about it.
Well, yeah, I'll feel better about a lot of things if Kawhi's back on the 16th. I'll forget about the cracks in my apartment walls if Kawhi's back on the 16th.
Jordan's been getting extra run too because KPJ has been out. There's probably a good chance he's back on Sunday against his former team.
That's day
So,
to day, right?
mhm,
Basically, just kind of, yeah.
left ankle tweak.
Mm,
This
annoying.
solidifies Jordan Miller as being heavily used in the rotation for a significant amount of time where he can really show what he can do. I think it's a big deal. You never want to see a guy get injured, but when that happens, somebody else has to step up, and it's Jordan
Yeah.
Miller's time. It's a big opportunity for him, and he can create that situation he's been talking about now where they can't afford to keep him out even when they are fully healthy.
Mm.
This is the type of stretch that can do that for him if he performs at a high level.
I talked about this a little bit after on the stream after the Blazers game. His offense was on full display in that game. He was doing his thing. We saw that all bench lineup and what the Blazers were doing defensively to Jordan Miller, which was go straight at him every single time with pretty good results for the Portland Trailblazers.
They had at least 3 buckets on him that I counted where they went by him. But
You know,
I don't
but
think his defense is bad. I don't.
That's what I'm saying. That's normal rookie, right? Like he didn't come into the league as he's going to be a star. You know what I mean? Like that's not like that was one of his things, but we're going to see him look like a rookie a bit on the defensive end. It's just how much can he make adjustments mid game? You know what I mean? Like, he's obviously coachable because Ty Lue trusts him. Excuse me. That's what I'm looking for. The offense, that is going to grow and keep going, and I feel really good about it. The defense is where we should watch to see how he's improving, which I think he will. But
Yeah.
that is going to be, if he's not getting as much time as some people want him to, just watch him on the defensive end. And again, not a knock on him. He's a young guy in this league.
Yeah. My point is he's just never had the reputation of being a bad defender at any level.
Totally.
It's not his bugaboo or he's not a sieve on defense. It's just now it's the NBA and you're going to be tested more on that level.
Yeah.
On that end of the court, I should say.
Deliberately too.
Yeah.
Like that's
you're the weak link.
The other part has got to be weird when you're a rookie and they're saying go at you, right? Like you're hearing people yell that. You're like, oh shit, okay.
Russ yelled that at Luka one time. Told him, go at him.
Exactly.
Luka, not a rookie.
Not a rookie. But a bad defender. But no, I like your point. Like it's just the NBA now, you know? Like you just gotta, and the coaches obviously believe that he is able to do that because he is getting more time.
I thought he brought up a really cool point saying it can't just be about me reacting to plays. It has to be about me predicting what's coming based upon basically watching tape, studying, and knowing what they're running out there. And that will come with experience. That's what helps slows things down for guys, I think. It's just they're seeing it more, they're reading it, and therefore they can start to adjust without just, oh, a guy's taking me left, now I have to move this way and just react to it instantly. It's like, this is where he goes, or this is what they're running right now, and this is how I can adjust and be in the correct position. He's so smart. I can't believe the interviews with him that we've got. He just heady. I don't know. I love the guy. Yeah. He gets it. And as long as his offense, I think it's going to be tough, given how he's looked offensively so far, for his defense to be so bad that it negates his offense. I just think there's such a slim chance of that happening because, first of all, I don't think he's that bad of a defender. I think he's capable. Yeah. And secondly, because offensively, outside of last night, he's not missing many of those shots.
And the other thing that he is, which might have changed, but the last time we looked at it, 4th on the team in free throw attempts per game in the most non-real minutes that you can possibly have and still be 4th on a team in free throw attempts per game for a team that needs easy buckets. Like, he has the nose for it. He's aggressive. That no-look pass he threw to Terance, I think, is one of my favorite highlights of his because he's confident. That's not a play you make if you're like, whoa, I hope I'm playing okay, and then you throw a no-look pass. Like, it's the confidence that I really like.
And that's part of his repertoire. He's not just a black hole on offense where he scores and he's efficient with it, but he can't do much else. Within that, he can find other guys like he did there with Terance Mann. That's what I think makes him impressive. He can help you in multiple ways on the offensive end. So I think he's going to be serviceable enough on defense that his offense will still keep him being a positive and keep him getting minutes out there.
Yes. One person who seems to be completely out of the rotation, Bones Highland. And as a skeleton key holder yourself, Adam, I know this hurts you, but we're trading him and PJ for like a draft and stash or something. Like it's the time is up, it feels like.
Coach Lou, you said you trust Jordan Miller. Who do you not trust?
So that must mean that you have a list of some kind. Who's at the bottom of that list? It was just, it's weird to see. It just kind of sucks.
It does. And I guess the attitude issues in Denver have lingered over. They've come with him because it's not between him and his teammates here. That's what's different. He had something going on with Jamal Murray in Denver.
Yeah.
He has no issue with his teammates. He's cheering guys on. He's doing everything there. It's just between him and the coaching staff, it looks like.
I just think like, when you see someone saying insane things and you're like, wow, that seems pretty crazy.
I see it in the chat all the time.
And you're like, wow, that seems pretty crazy. And then there's one guy who's like, whoa, I actually think this guy might be right. That's PJ Tucker and Bones Highland is what I think happened, where it's like, why did you hitch your wagon to the way that PJ Tucker was acting in the locker room that one season? They both got sent home. It's not like
PJ was such a bad vet. For one, not willing to help and be a good vet and just chill on the bench and point out some things here and there with his knowledge of the game. But then he also apparently actively hurt another guy's attitude I'm not going to say Bones, isn't responsible at all,
But he
but
didn't help.
no, it's like he followed the wrong guy. That was bad leadership, PJ. That was not what we needed.
Yeah, so that was rough. And then 21 turnovers versus Minnesota, also rough. Burn the tape. Just burn the tape.
And Coach Lou said post-game, unlike Mike Malone, they will be flushing this.
Yeah, this isn't. What are they going to revisit here?
There's nothing to learn from that game, honestly. Nothing. Outside of Trenton Flowers, and hey, look pretty good. Nothing.
Yeah. Free chicken was nice.
That was nice. They missed 7 straight free throws going against the Intuit Dome wall.
Which they
in the
chose to
fourth
do.
quarter.
Fools.
Yeah. Well, they still won.
Yeah, no, they won the war, but they lost that one very, very not that important battle in the context of that war. All right, we're going to go ahead and flush that game and never talk about it again. We are going to talk about the upcoming game on Sunday against the Rockets. Hey, that should be a fun time. We got some more audio ads coming up, and then Rockets talk in 3, 2, 1. All right, we are back. Welcome to Clips and Dip. Thank you for listening to us. If you'd like to watch us, you can watch us at youtube.com/@ClippersPodcast. You can find this podcast anywhere you get your regular old podcast. It's Clippers versus the Rockets on Sunday at 6 p.m. Clippers are 0-2 versus the Rockets this year. It's not been pretty, really. The last time we played out, there were some things that went against us that I don't think will happen again, right? Derek Jones Jr. and Zoo were 2 of 14.
Yeah.
Last time we played them. The Clippers lost points in the paint, second chance points, and fast break points. Let's hope we win one of those. But what gets me about this Rockets team is that they have 2 guys on the bench that just kind of destroy our second unit, which is Amen Thompson and Eason.
What did they call themselves?
I don't know. I thought I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, that's pretty cool, I guess.
I'll look it up.
But that is what worries me in this game, especially no Terance Mann. We're just a little thinner. You talk about Jordan Miller being put in the defensive spotlight again against a team with 2 guys on the bench who can really score.
They're the Terror Twins.
Mm.
Apparently, they watch tape together at times and look up the analytics of like how they're doing. They put a lot of pride into their role. Yeah.
That's cool. And again, that's what terrifies me about them. They really like being really good off the bench together. Yeah. How are you feeling about this one? I put this in the breakdown. I don't know if it's wrong to say this matchup feels bleak as hell, just from what we saw last game. But like this, it's just a good Rockets team. We're gonna put up a fight.
Yeah, they're good. Oof. Their offense, though, is middle of the pack. They're just 16th on the offensive end. There is an area where if the Clippers' defense is fully focused, they could slow them down as much as the Rockets are slowing down the Clippers' offense, maybe. Because the Clippers' offense had been better until the game last night. They were 11th over the last 10 games when they were 8-2 heading into that game last night before they got beat up something good by the Minnesota Timberwolves. So I asked Coach Lou, I got the first question in yesterday about the offensive rating and why it has changed. And first.
Yeah, you need to say that next time you get first. See if they kick you out.
I asked him about being 11th the last 10 games offensively, and he credited them turning the ball over less and getting up more 3-pointers, which they had a couple of stellar games from the outside where they had just shot, made 18 threes against Denver and then 19 against Portland. So they made 37 threes in back-to-back games where they were doing it at high volume too.
Yeah.
I think they ended up shooting 48% or something like that from distance in those 2 games. I do worry that sometimes when they win, is it as simple as just they hit their threes tonight? But I think there's something to Coach Lou always talks about when they get up a lot of threes, it's a sign that they're moving the ball really well. Guys are touching it. They're playing hot potato. So therefore you're getting better looks from the outside. So you're not just putting them up to get them up to try to get to some arbitrary number. We have to take 42 threes a night or anything like that. They're doing it within the flow of the offense. When the offense is flowing, they tend to get a ton more threes because drive, kick, swing. So they're going to have to be great in that area against Houston. I don't know if they were in either game. That first game where they almost came back with a bench mob.
Yeah.
that was kind of interesting. It got dicey there. I think they got to within 4, maybe with 3 minutes left or something like that after they were down big early. But it does just feel like a bad matchup, and their youth and just physicality out there with the Houston Rockets really causes problems for the Clippers because they just disrupt a lot of what they're doing with James Harden. They have so many guys they can throw at him, and then you slow down or cut off the head of the snake.
Well, then Norm had a bad game last time too. They stifled Norm, but he also shot poorly. 27%.
They got into his airspace pretty well. Hopefully he's back. I would expect him to be, and I'm sure he'll play better. But it's not just a bad matchup for the Clippers right now. They are a bad matchup because they have turned into one of the better teams in the NBA, and we're still kind of wrapping our heads around that. Oh, Houston's like a top
good
team, maybe.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, they are just a very good team in general. And we did the episode like midway through November. If you want to listen to the post game episode after that last Rockets game, we talk about it. It's just the Clippers' kryptonite. Like it's just a very athletic team that prides itself on defense. And if they're playing well, the Clippers offense it is what it is. It's just very difficult to overcome that. And we got to assume Norm will be back. Like you were saying, Norm should be back. We're going to need KPJ's legs, like someone to initiate the offense on the second unit. Because again, the Rockets bench defense is very good.
I think a case has been made by the void of not having KPJ the last few games of maybe how valuable he is, because it's just not easy without him to just initiate offense.
Dude, it looks not that even against the Blazers, which was a blowout kind of starting in the late third, there were some times with that all bench lineup where it was like, guys, you have dribbled a basketball and passed it to other people before. Like, I understand we're not all true point guards, but there was some like Keystone Cops action by some of those lineups with like in terms of how they were initiating the offense.
Especially against a team that is able to switch. And Portland's pretty good with that for a team that's, they're not great, but Houston's really good with that. Like, you're trying to get this screen. Cool. We're just going to switch it and throw a pretty good defender at you. Another one. It's not going to be easy against them, but yeah, maybe I should say that while they're a very good team overall, they're specifically a thorn in the side against a team like the Clippers, with just the way they match up against them.
Totally. And it doesn't seem like we're going to get that first round pick.
No, it doesn't. It is still, we're 25% of the way.
It's on the table.
It's not totally out of reach because things are that close in the standings right now. But let's see, the Clippers they're 2 games back of them. So it's not that crazy that, okay, we've seen teams get off to hot starts before. I like this Houston team heading into this year. I think they have a very good head coach. I think they got a lot of good young talent, and they just had to figure out where guys fit. And they're starting to put those pieces together. And the way they brought in a couple of vets last season with Fred VanVleet and with Dylan Brooks, the pieces match up. Things are lining up for them now. It makes sense. Alperen Sengun is, having a moment right now, or a leap in his development. So there's no reason really to think they could slow down a little bit, but there's no reason to think that they're going to drop out of being a top 6 seed in the Western Conference by what I've seen so far this season.
Yeah. And there's some other weird, and with that pick specifically, wouldn't we have to finish in the lottery range anyway, which I don't know if the Clippers will do.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like if we were to keep our first round pick, like a lottery pick specifically, we would have had to finish in the lottery range and better than the Rockets, which I don't see either team doing.
Yeah, the Rockets is top 10 protected. I forget. We went over it that one day with Justin Russo. But there is a chance that even if they did finish ahead of them, but slightly, then it comes down to ping pong balls. And while they have an increased chance of not having the better pick that OKC would take, it's not a foregone conclusion. So we'll see. The Clippers should be playing to win games. And regardless if it's chasing down the Rockets and trying to hold on to that pick or not.
All right, now we come to the most important part of the show. Will is not here for this. We are doing the Clippers player of the game picks. And because they only have one game, we only have to pick a player of the game for one game. We've been having to go across 3 games. We did 2 the other day. If you're new to the show, we cannot pick Ivica Zubac, James Harden, or Norm Powell to be player of the game because those 3 people would just rotate between Adam, Will, and I. For what they're going to do. Will's not here. Adam, who do you think Will would pick for his player of the game?
We're giving Will's pickup. Let's see. Who would he like? Who would Will like? I'll go with Nico Batum for Will.
Oh, okay. Nico's had I'm so pissed off about the whistle against Nico Batum, which continues to be happening. But Nico has not had 12 versus the Wolves on the 29th, but he's not. The defense is there. I like that pick. We're going to need him to be good.
I got your back, Will. I gave you Nico.
Adam, who are you picking?
I'll go Mo Bamba. I'll go Mo Bamba with my pick.
Shout out. Mo Bamba had one really good shift against the Blazers that I highlighted in my post-game stream. It was chaos. It was complete. He was ripping the ball away from guys. He hit a 3. I like the Bamba pick.
Bamba, I liked his energy. He just looks like he's moving well out there. Whatever was going on with his knee swelling, they certainly got that under control because, I think he had like 2 steals and 3 blocks in that third quarter stretch where they opened things up against Portland.
And a 3.
Yeah, and he can stretch the floor a little bit. I like to see him hit him at a little bit of a higher frequency right now, but it's still the numbers are low.
Okay, so you're going
like 3 in a row. All of a sudden, he's probably at like 36%. You know,
right? Okay, so you're at Mo Bamba. Will pick Nico Batum. Damn, I have a lot of people to choose from. I picked Jordan Miller to be good over the last 2 games, and one of those I was correct about. Let's see. We're gonna need. You know who's gonna have a bounce back game off the bench that we're gonna really need?
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming Norm is playing, which is why I said off the bench. Amir Coffey. Okay. Killed it against the Blazers. Not so much against the Timberwolves.
Who did outside Trent Flowers?
Very true. So I'm going Amir Coffey. He's going to hit a couple 3s. He's going to hit time. He's probably going to hit a fast break bucket when the Clippers either, maybe the lead's only 4, they bump it up to 6. It feels more comfortable, or they're down, like something like that. I love the timely buckets from Amir. I think he's going to come up big in the sense that Amir comes up.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good call. Amir has been, I don't know how many 3s he missed last game, but going into that, I think he was shooting 44% going into that game last night from 3.
Yeah.
Amir Coffey. And it's not totally out of the realm that he shoots over 42% from 3 this season. Yeah. I'm not going to bet on it, but he shot 38% from 3 last season. He had 1 year on really low volume where he shot 41% from 3. He's a good shooter, and he's only gotten better.
One of the better contracts in the league.
Yeah. Guy was almost traded.
Yeah, God. That, man. Happy that didn't go down. All right, that about wraps it up. We're going to be coming at you probably live after the Rockets game. I will be getting a Christmas tree on Sunday, so we'll see what time that happens. Hopefully before the Rockets game. For sure, a full episode on Monday with everybody. If any actual Kawhi news drops, I'm sure we will have you covered on Clippers Talk and on Clips and Dip. We'll make sure to go live for all that jazz. We really need reviews. They help us on iTunes. They help us on Spotify, all those places. If you'd like to subscribe to our channel, feel free. We're not going to stop you. YouTube.com/@ClippersPodcast. It's a really fun time. We do appreciate you. And Adam, one positive thing to send these Clippers fans out on heading into this weekend.
As much as things are still murky and unclear and unsubstantiated with Kawhi, the rumors that are out there are at least positive, and not his publicist in China is saying something vague and cryptic that could end up being bad. All the rumors are trending towards the positive way this time. I will sign up for that.
Yeah. Encouragement. That's what we're here for. We are encouraged by this Kawhi news. Thank you to everyone for hanging out. We will talk to you later. And as